Closure rate 5 knots. Lateral offset 3 feet. Steady, steady. Contact confirmed. Holding.
شهر در محاصره است و مردم برای
Spirit 6-1, report position. Confirm stealth protocol. Comms hold on entering Iranian AO.
Copy, crossing boundary. Nav confirms IP inbound. Altitude holding. Defensive systems set. No chatter, no beacons.
Approaching target release point. Arming B-6112. Stealth protocol active. Holding all comms until package relieved.
Copy. Range to target 1 nautical. Altimeter steady. Radar shows clear. Bomb bay doors at 60 seconds out. Weapons ready.
Spirit 6-1, execute on green. Package window, 30 seconds.
Roger. 10 seconds to release. Mark.
5,
4, 3, 2,
1.
Ordnance away.
Well, congratulations, comrade, to you and the team there at One Day. Let's just be quite clear. Samir, who we normally have on, he's not a film director in the traditional sense. He's not following a traditional script. He's not designing and going out to film the movie. He's giving instructions to the AI. That's what we call prompt craft, right?
I wouldn't say. I say he is a director, actually, and he does consider himself a director. There's 2 directors of this film. Buhar Kazmi is the other one. And I have to say, experiencing them, think of this film and produce it and publish it and get it out there and get it onto the internet, there is very little difference in terms of the actual process from making a traditional film. The difference is you don't go and film something. We did not go and have the traditional middle bit of the production of a film, but we did have, an ideas process. There was thinking about what film we wanted to make. There was scripting. There was casting. We filmed actors performing that script. When the film was generated, that's the bit that's different. We didn't go to Tehran in Iran to film a street scene. We used a bespoke process to generate those visuals, but also those visuals use directing expertise. There was, when you're writing, this is where the sort of prompting comes in. So there's a bit of semantics, really. You can call it prompting, you can call it directing, it's the same thing. You have to decide what scene you want to generate, which means you have to decide, is it a wide shot? Is it at night? Is there grain? Is there, what's the actual message you're trying to tell? And I think this has been quite an eye-opening experience for me, watching Buhar and Samir produce this film, which is that you still need all the traditional skills of making, beautiful, emotional films. And you actually need the expertise about that behind the scenes.
So what I hadn't quite appreciated, there was a process where you film actors fulfilling the roles in the film. So it's not scraped from other movies or other productions. You're not asking the AI to make a judgment on who it uses or the facial expressions it might use. That is all real, is it? And then it's adapted using AI.
That's right. I mean, I was there in Samir's living room when we had three Farsi-speaking actors come and perform the script. So, in a traditional environment, you'd actually do this on location and film the script, but we did it on very low tech, filming, and we recorded it on phones. And there was a to and fro with the directors about, should we use this line or that line, and then those visuals were then sort of uploaded to our process, and the visuals were generated over the top, and then the lips were synced, the sound was tweaked. Samir actually voices the voice of the B2 pilots, so it's got radio chatter over the top. So it's you can film something that looks like almost Hollywood. I think Hollywood, as good as Hollywood, in your living room. We literally did this in Samir's living room.
I've got loads of questions, but perhaps Maju and Stephanie have questions as well.
Yeah, I have questions, and I wanted to make a comment as well. My question is, if you think, and I've seen the clip as well, and it is, amazing that you can create that. But I think I found it amazing because I knew it was all done by technology. And I guess viewers need to separate, do you love the film anyway, regardless of who made it? And my question would be sort of, what did you think were the constraints or could have been better, given you did this in a completely different way?
In terms of the technical limitations, they're getting less and less relevant.
Not just technical limitations. Just as a filmmaker, I'm curious if you guys felt limited by this process at all.
I mean, in some ways, it's a film we could never have made with the budget we had, and you can't film very easily in Tehran. Directors do film in Tehran, but they have to use subterfuge, and you'd have budgets for explosives, for a VFX budget to create a B2 bomber in flight. This is impossible for the level of spending that you have to do as an independent filmmaker. You'd have to spend millions, tens of millions on this if you wanted to shoot it in camera. So I think from that perspective, it's allowing us to shoot impossible films based on the economic constraints. In terms of the limits, you have to generate a lot of imagery. You have to spend a lot of money with these AI platforms, and it's not a process where you imagine a scene and then you prompt it and then it appears exactly how you want it. It's very much an iterative process, and it requires craft and attention to detail and lots of tweaking later. And it doesn't do some things well. We hired a very good colorist to color grade the scenes, and there's many tools, and other people we licensed a beautiful piece of music that's original and match the scripts, so these things aren't quite there in terms of the technology, and I think
but I just wonder, does it change your tolerance for failure or experimentation in perhaps the same way that digital photography changed our tolerance for mistakes?
I think so. I think you can, we reshot things, as in, we took a scene that was in the finished film, and you can go back and generate a different camera angle, right? So I don't like the camera angle's too low on the cat. Can I move it up a little bit? Well, in the past, that would require, a whole new production day, and you go on
going out and shooting.
You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's where sort of the commercial side of One Day. So we're hoping to make advertising films, and the process of making an advert is you have a client, and a client sees the finished product, and they often have a tweak that they want to make, which will cost maybe tens of thousands of pounds. Well, nowadays you can, with the AI tool, go in and reshoot that for £1,000. So it's very interesting how it's sort of the generative tools are getting into the sort of cracks of video production, and when that's where they're best deployed, is where something that would be impossible or cost a lot of money. Well, now you can go generate that imagery.
That is it for this week's anniversary edition. A huge thank you to our guests. Thank you to Majid. Thank you to Conrad, and also to Stephanie again. If you do want to get in touch, remember you can email us, aidecoded@bbc.co.uk. I think viewers are just getting used to that. So aidecoded@bbc.co.uk. If there's something you want us to cover, or if you've got issues or concerns you want to raise, then of course do send us a short message. You can catch us on iPlayer as well, and all the past episodes there on the BBC YouTube website. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.